Rockefeller Center survived Superstorm Sandy. It was donated by a man in New Jersey who says the tree was bundled to protect it from Sandy's fierce winds. Journalism without agenda. This is America's Radio News.
Here's some great news from Tom Trento, host of the daily WNN Trento Vision Show. Due to the unparalleled success of the Trento Vision Show, you now have an amazing opportunity to advertise on the Trento Vision Show. If you want more information about this excellent opportunity for your business, please contact Tom Trento at 561-319-5533, or you can email him, tom@trentovision.tv. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to Trento Vision, where bad ideas get pulverized and the truth will set you free. Trento Vision is hosted by Tom Trento. Tom can be reached at 561-319-5533 or tom@trentovision.tv. Listen and watch every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN and trentovision.tv. Now, let's get a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
Okay, we're on the air, sort of, or so. Yes, we are. But not according to that delay thing. But the delay thing doesn't work. Hey, you're very fortunate to have us here because we just listened to the top of the hour, 5-minute little news hit. And what a screwed up world, CJ, we're living in. Criminals being let out, jihadis being let free, Jesse Jackson Jr. I had the privilege, I guess it's a privilege, of introducing Jesse Jackson on the air the day he was on. I did radio earlier. It was 1995. He made his announcement to run. How many years ago was that? 2005. It's a lot of years. 17 years, 18 years, whatever.
You're an old man.
Oh man, I was a young kid, young radio guy. He made his announcement on my show, and I kind of was interviewing him. And I have a way of getting into the person's life, and
yes. And would you stop that,
yes,
please?
I know. And we're talking about his nitwit father and all that, and. I said,
he thinks his father's a nitwit?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He's bipolar, so maybe. But he just got released from the Mayo Clinic. He was in the hospital undergoing bipolar treatment, and Chicago reelected him. So this is an interesting world. But I got a couple of observations. J. Mark Campbell, the disembodied voice, hello.
Hello, hello.
And CJ and Mike and Kenny and everybody. Couple of observations as we move into another rip-roaring 3 hours of drive time radio here on trentovision.tv. That means you can watch this, folks. And if you're watching it and you want to call in, you're more than welcome to. We'll take calls today. And you can try to remember what I'm going to say, 888-565-1470. Or you can look right above the window, right where my head is. Actually, below. Look right over here to the right. Sort of, you got to do it like this because there's there we go. This should
backwards.
This should get it perfectly. Right here is the number, 888-565-1470. You can call in, and you'll want to call in today because we got some wild stuff. I just want to share, as we start, a couple of observations on the day. And I got to start right here locally in South Florida because we're going to have reports shortly from the Allen West campaign, which is still battling mightily to make sure all the votes are counted properly. But as Allen West, decorated combat war hero, is fighting in Palm Beach County for his political life, his opponent, a snot-nosed, goofy kid, Patrick Murphy, what a goofball. I had dinner with him a couple of years ago in Washington. We were both at the same AIPAC table, the organization, the big American-Israeli organization. And I talked to him a little bit there, was majestically unimpressed with the guy. And I said, yeah, you can have a rough time. But right now, 29-year-old Patrick Murphy, who probably never held a weapon in his hand is in Washington, D.C. It's freshman orientation week for the new congressman. So tell me the world isn't upside down when Allen West is here fighting for his political life based upon a free and fair and open voting process. And Patrick Murphy, because his father's very wealthy, Patrick Murphy's in Washington in orientation as a new congressman. But it isn't because of his wealth. And I want you guys to comment on this in a little bit. Patrick Murphy won because Allen West is so effective as a congressman. He was so effective that the other side said, like you do in wartime, we got to take their top guy out. And they made Allen West the number one, number two target. Mitt Romney was number one, but congressional level, Allen West was the number one target of the Democratic Party in America. Why'd they do that? Because he's ineffective? No, because he was so effective. Unbelievable.
Is this the same Patrick Murphy who called the Tea Party a hate group at the Allen West debate?
Yes, you were
Is
there.
Is
You
that the
chased
same?
him.
Is that the same Allen Murphy I chased down the hall?
Get that video ready. We'll play that later. J. Mark chased Patrick Murphy down the hall, up at the same place where this nonsense is going on.
And he ran
right
away
now.
like a little,
He ran around like a little girl
girl.
that he is. Patrick Murphy, a little Irish little girl that he is, but I got other observations. So we got the Patrick Murphy observation. Then I have an observation on, this is the Trento Vision observations. I have an observation on General Petraeus. In 2 days, you guys realize this? In 2 days. So Friday it broke, today's Tuesday, 2 business days. The mainstream media knows more about the sex life of General Petraeus in 2 days than they were able to figure out the issue and the situation in Libya at Benghazi with Petraeus and the CIA in the middle of it. They had 2 months to figure out what was going on in Benghazi, but are clueless, the mainstream media. But as it relates to his sex life in 2 days, they got everybody all over the place writing, researching, doing everything. What does that say to you, CJ?
Well, it's a media scandal, isn't it?
Well, we continue with the Trento Vision observations here on WNN 1470. My next observation is for you alpha males out there.
Yeah.
And I heard, I think Jay Leno was speaking about this, and it cracked me up when I heard about it.
Are there any alpha males left? I mean,
Yeah,
besides the one in the studio here.
Yeah. Well, the General Petraeus, right? Well, listen, guys. This is to you guys, right? Just everybody else, stay away. No one else listen. This is just to you guys. If the head of the CIA, who has people that will pull your fingernails out if he wants to have them taken out, he has rendition locations all over the world. He can waterboard your butt in a second. If he can't get away with dating some military chick who's an intelligence officer, nobody is ever going to get away with an affair anywhere on the earth, okay? If the most secret guy in the most secret organization gets busted, you're dead meat, guys. So, try to walk on that straight and narrow path. Speaking of walking, boom. Another observation, our great Federal Bureau of Investigation, a place I was headed to at one point in my life. Yesterday, I don't know if you guys know this, they were at Paula Broadwell. That's an interesting last name for her, too. Paula Broadwell. They were at her home in North Carolina. Really? And they went through 4 floors, hours and hours, like 3 or 4 hours there. And they confiscated virtually anything that looked like evidence. Well, that 4 hours that the FBI spent at her home yesterday was more time than they spent in Benghazi doing their investigation there. And it took them 2 weeks. It took the FBI 2 weeks since the attack on 9/11. They didn't get to the site. CNN reporters, stringers actually, CNN reporters got to the site sooner than the FBI did. And there's some interesting theories about that. I heard a really wild theory. I'll just throw this out. Somebody said that Saddam Hussein's weapons of mass destruction went to Libya. Not that bizarre. Many of us who know about this stuff said they went to Syria, but they found their way to Libya, and that the CIA was there rounding them up,
Right.
and that consulate was being used as a place to get people to talk about what's going on and to go find these weapons, and that whole area, the consulate and the annex, and when everything went down, they didn't want the FBI going there and doing any investigation. The CIA didn't want them there to do an investigation, and used the authorities there to hold them out for quite a while the place can be scrubbed and cleaned up.
Well, Obama got rid of all rendition, so he shouldn't have been worried about that.
That was the annex, yeah.
There's no rendition at all happening.
Well, that's another theory, but all these theories, these wide-eyed and wild-eyed theories that we're talking about, they'll all be sorted out and classified by our excellent spook, who will be here in our third hour, our good friend Claire Lopez. She will be here to straighten all of this out, 20 years in the agency, and we're Skyping her in, I believe, and you can ask Claire Lopez questions. She's probably one of the most brilliant people we know, particularly on national security issues, speaks 5 languages, 20 years with the agency, now trains a lot of people all over the world.
She's also a co-author of Sharia, the Threat to America, and also a regular on the Glenn Beck Show.
She's a regular on Glenn Beck. She's a colleague of ours on Sharia, the Threat to America. So here we are. We got a fascinatingly interesting 3 hours on world events, on the craziness locally as it relates to our good friend Alan West, on national security issues, both in the United States and then on a global plane. And we're going to talk in particular about Israel today, because Israel is coming under attack. But who cares? It's just a bunch of Jews in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, welcome, folks, to TrentoVision.tv, National Security Radio, where we are unfair and unbalanced, I guess we would be. Are we unbalanced?
Oh, yeah.
I think we're very well adjusted.
Oh, okay.
About as balanced as I was when chasing Patrick Murphy down the hall.
Yeah. We're a little unbalanced. We make no pretension of being fair, okay? We're advocates. We have a particular viewpoint. We're very good at what we do. We argue our viewpoint. We challenge people with competitive ideas. And as the little intro says, we'll pulverize your ideas. Because truth will always find its way to the surface if the individual has the capability to engage in the public forum. And yes, we do. We're very good at that. So that's where we're going today. We have a little, like we always do, we have a little set of notes that we kind of follow. Sort of maybe.
I think you just do it to make us crazy,
That's right.
to keep us all on tilt. Oh, this is what we're talking about today.
Oh, no, we're
guess
not.
what? No, we're not.
Pull up this video now.
Yeah.
This is a
Slight change in plan, kiddies.
This is an organic process, live radio. Things change momentarily. Texts come in. Let's see.
All right.
Oh, a text did come in. How about that?
We have the Patrick Murphy video up for you. if you want to
okay.
look.
Yeah. I know that. Texter, I know that. They're sending me text notes based upon things. All right, let's bring CJ into the picture
No.
here. Yes.
No, don't
While
do
we're
it.
doing that, let me tell you the title for the show today. It's Welcome to Obama's Days of Our Lives.
Days of
And in one of my schools, graduate school, I had an afternoon job. I believe it or not, you know what my job was?
nope.
I was doing theological studies in a theological format, which is very kind of austere and very academic. And after getting out of class, before I went to work, I would sit home eating lunch and put on Days of Our Lives, and I got hooked on Days of Our Lives, believe it or not. And, I do work in communication, and I'm going, I know there's going to be a cliffhanger ending, and it's so stupid and so obvious, but I got to watch it the next day to figure out how they got out. How did she get out of it or something?
Oh, I do that all the time with like these reality shows. Any reality show comes on, you start watching it for like a half hour, you're like hooked for the whole marathon.
Did this help you with your ministry?
Oh, yes, it helped tremendously. And but what I did after Days of Our Lives, I would put on my uniform, strap on my gun, in a theological setting, walk out of the house. Actually,
You were in a dangerous neighborhood.
actually, the gun was given to us when we got to work. You go in this little booth where you get the doors locked, and then they hand you your gun. I drove a armored car. I was a Wells Fargo armored car driver. So in Denver, Colorado, I got stories. Having to
Well,
pull
that's
the
a
gun a
good
few
thing
times.
because you have a 3-hour radio
Yeah,
show
I
and you
got
might
enough
need some
stories.
fillers
I got enough
sometimes.
stories for that. But the name of our like we tell you every time we're here, every day, 3 to 6, we're a 3-act play, and the name of the play today is Welcome to Obama's Days of Our Spies. DAZE. Days of Our Spies. Because our spy industry and our chief spy, the President of the United States, are unraveling before your eyes.
I'm sorry,
folks.
did you just say that the President of the United
He's chief
States is
spy.
our chief spy?
Chief spy. Yeah,
Who's he spying for?
He's the top guy. He's the top guy. He's got to figure out.
Is he spying
where
on
it
us
goes.
for somebody else?
It could be.
like Mike's graph, you got the spy versus spy graphic up there.
Does he have it up there? Yeah. That's a pretty good one. It's really sad because those of us who do this work, the Team B, 2 people, I mean, everybody I know bleeds red, white, and blue, and all of our friends all over the place.
Yep.
America first, American exceptionalism. America's great, America's fabulous. We'll give our lives, and many of our friends have done that. And then you see the elite organizations. I want to talk about this too. I think somebody's supposed to call in. Somebody with us?
Yeah, we have Dave on the line.
Oh. So in any event, we're going to talk about the Allen West situation, get some on-the-ground updates, and then we're going to get into the David Petraeus mess and try to get a handle on where the United States is going, where our intelligence agencies are going, how this impacts our enemies, how they read this, and then more particularly, we're radio with an educational slant. We want you to take something away every day where you go, oh my God, that's good stuff. And whether it's kind of humorous or whether it's just straight right to the brain, we want you to take away some stuff. So we'll do that. But right now, why don't you introduce our next guy, our good friend,
Hi, Dave. How are you today?
Good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, we're doing great.
Dave D. Man, you are a superstar on this battle. How many days has it been since you've been on the ground there?
Let's see. Started went up there last night for about 2 or so hours. Stood on the street. There's about a dozen of us up there, and that was all about just veterans letting people know that we're about the fraud voting that's going on and what have you.
Wait, Dave, before we get going, hang on. Let me set this up. So our listeners on WNN 1470 and the viewers on TrentoVision.tv at 23 minutes after 3 at a lovely 75 degrees inside our little room, which never changes. Let me tell them who you are a little bit. Dave D. runs Patriots Press. Patriots Press what? Patriots Press, right?
It's thepatriotspress.com. There's a THE in the front of that.
Oh, that's like the United West. We have that too, like the Ohio State.
Everybody always gets confused by that too.
The Patriots Press. Well, when we got the name the United West was an airlines, right?
Yeah,
so we had to kind of work around that. And people thought we had something to do with Allen West, which we did not, other than he's our friend. Dave D. Is the founder and editor of thepatriotspress.com, an online conservative blog, newspaper, factual area. And he has been following the West debacle, the voting debacle in 3 states. If you're familiar with the geography of Florida, Palm Beach is where Boca Raton is, and West Palm Beach. Then Martin County, which is, what cities are in Martin County? None. Hope Sound, and then St. Lucie County, which is Fort Pierce, correct? Fort Pierce is up there?
Pretty much.
All right, you've been doing this, I guess, for a week now, tracking this down in and out of all these buildings. That's why you get one of the activist awards of the day. But take us through the past 48 hours. What's happened from Monday morning to right now?
Well, pretty much what's happened is last night, as I said, the Oath Keepers set up shop in front of the SOE's office up there on the street. There's about a dozen people, and basically it was about veterans just discussing, proving the integrity of the vote. Everybody agrees this is this issue that we're talking about is bigger than just the Allen West Patrick Murphy race. This is about making sure that the vote is true, that there is integrity in the offices, and it's, I'm following it in Palm Beach County, Martin County, and St. Lucie County, but no question about it, this is an issue that is happening all across our country, and there needs to be a lot of people checking out what's going on, and we need to be screaming from the top of the mountains because we're getting run roughshod about. But moving back over to St. Lucie County, so I'm up there last night for a number of hours, didn't get home till fairly late, did my normal preparation for the morning newspaper run, and then this morning I got up at 5 o'clock as I always do, and I got my daily articles posted and let people know that they were there, and I went right from there. I drove up to St. Lucie County again, up to Fort Pierce, and today was a little exciting. We had, starting at, 10 o'clock, and when I first got there was maybe 75 or 80 people. At one point, the number was somewhere between, I would guesstimate and say 150 or 200 people.
Wow,
and,
you're kidding me.
Yeah. No, we had a really good turnout today, and we expect to have a whole lot more than that tomorrow. Tomorrow's the real big day.
What happens tomorrow?
More of the same, starting at 7 a.m. The first people will get there at 7, and then the rest of the people will get there at 10, but we expect people from the Patriot Guard Riders, we expect people from the Tea Party, we expect people from all over the place. Anybody that's listening to this radio station that is planning on going there tomorrow, please, we are doing everything we can. I should say they are doing everything they can to make this about the process and the integrity of the vote. Don't go up there necessarily showing support for Allen West, even if you do, because, again, this is about the vote itself, not the candidates. So it's real important to keep that in mind. But we're going to have as much media as we had today. We had Channel 5, Channel 25, I think Channel 12 was there. A lot of people walking around, including myself. Tomorrow I expect to see a whole lot more. I think that there's going to be a lot more people. There's going to be petitions sent around so that we can actually, petition the governor to not accept this travesty of election fraud that's going on, not only what happened last week in Palm Beach County, but also what's going on up in St. Lucie County. It's just, it's amazing to me. They were supposed to, tomorrow, they were supposed to open up and review all of the contested votes. Saturday night, at the 11th hour, they decided, nope, we're going to do it Sunday morning. So they changed their minds. They figured that nobody's going to show up on a Sunday morning, being that it's Sunday, it's Veterans Day, but people doing their Sundays and all that stuff. So they decided to do it Sunday morning at 7. Well, they thought they were going to be alone, and they were wrong. 100 people or so showed up Sunday to watch them do their thing, and they didn't count the contested days of ballots. They recounted the days that they'd already counted, and here's the kicker. This is the real kicker. Prior to doing that, Allen West was up, my understanding is, 2,000 points. After they recounted the ones that they had already counted, he was down 2,000. So you got a swing of 4,000 points, and they never touched any new ballots. Who's kidding? Who's kidding who? So tomorrow they're going to try to, again, maybe force a recount of the ballots, but she already certified the debacle from Sunday right in front of us.
Oh.
So, she said, this is it, it's done.
So the race is really over. It has been called then.
No, and I want to be very clear on that. Just because she said it was certified, that it's far from over. The Allen West people, I understand, are doing what they have to do legally, and there are people calling the governor and emailing Pam Bondi, and this is by far not over. I believe that ultimately honesty and integrity is going to prevail, and I believe that whoever the right candidate, whoever factually won that race will surface and will know. If it's Patrick Murphy, good luck to you. If it's Allen West, good luck to us. But the most important thing is I want to see an honest counting of the ballots, and I think that could still happen because the governor does not have to accept her report of what she's done so far.
Oh, really? Well, if you want to weigh in on this, those of you watching or listening, give us a call. Talk to Dave D. He's on the ground. He is right there. He can answer any question you have. 888-565-1470. Or we'll give you his private cell phone number so you can call him in the middle of the night and harass him. How about that, Dave?
That's a good idea. Why
That's a good idea.
Give him my email address too, Tom, while you're at it.
And he lives at, and
exactly.
What we'll do, if you want to talk to Dave D. or one of us, 888-565-1470. Give us a call. We have another gentleman coming on who initiated this vigil. CJ and Mark have questions, but I have one question for you. I'm confused on this whole, whether or not he's been, the race has been called, but Patrick Murphy is in Washington, D.C. as a freshman in freshman orientation. What the hell is that all about, number one? And number two, I'm not quite understanding why there's a resistance or hesitance to not be an advocate for Allen and just say, oh, we just want free votes. I mean, that's as thin as the thinnest piece of thin paper you can imagine. Everybody's there to demand that Allen gets a fair count because he's perceived as the loser. Why the sort of tactical move? Oh, we don't care, just as long as it's a proper vote. What's that all about?
You asking me that, Tom?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the way I see it is this, hello. The way I see it is this, and don't get me wrong, I certainly support. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we hear you perfectly.
Okay.
You're coming in extremely well.
Okay. I guess the thing is this. The bottom line is we need to see integrity in the vote across the country, certainly in this county, and I would love to see Allen West prevail. I really do. I'd love to see him prevail. I think he's a great congressman. I think he's a great man, and he's a hero. And I will say that to anybody. However, more importantly at this stage of the game, I think it's important for people to American. I want to make sure that the votes are all counted fairly, accurately, and make sure that the right person in every single race, the real true winner, actually won fair and square.
Okay. You're a great American.
Okay.
CJ has a question for you.
Yeah, I do. And actually, we also have Fred on the line now, so I want to bring Fred into this. Fred Perry, who held the vigil last night in Fort Pierce.
Fred No Sleep Perry. How are you?
I can appreciate that you both are concerned about the integrity of the vote. I'm kind of curious because both of you have spent so much time in Palm Beach and St. Lucie counties to certify the integrity of the vote. How many Democrats have you run into at these vigils for people who are concerned about the integrity of the vote?
I've met one.
One? You met one Democrat in Palm Beach County who was concerned about the integrity of the vote?
County? in Palm Beach County, I met
There were a lot of people there.
two Democrats maybe that said that they were more interested in the integrity than anything else. The rest of them were basically, they didn't want to talk to me. They didn't want to talk to anybody. They just wanted to basically walk around with their grumpy faces and
Oh boy.
that,
No, that's Democrats. They have grumpy faces. That's how you can tell.
Yeah, exactly. The supervisor of election was their hero, and they thought that we shouldn't have been there. That we should, just like a guy on another radio show yesterday, Larry, that I had the displeasure of listening to, who thinks that we should just, grow up and forget about this and move on. The vote is done. He doesn't realize that his vote was compromised as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Let's find out what Fred did all
Yeah,
night
what
long.
Fred, what can you tell us about the vigil last night?
Yeah, we had a pretty good turnout. On very short notice, we had 15 people there. We contacted the various press outlets. I will say the media, Channel 5, WPTV, I couldn't believe how quickly they got out there. I think I was still dialing other networks and reporters when their van pulled up, and they stayed there for quite a while. They shot a lot of sort of B-roll footage and interviewed some of the folks, and they were very pleasant. As skeptical as I am of the media, they actually treated us exceptionally well, and by exceptionally well, they told our story without editorializing or anything. So, I think it went very nicely. We had we had plenty of flags.
Hey, Fred, hang on one second. We're going to play that piece that NBC shot. You'll hear the soundtrack. The people watching on TrentoVision.tv can listen and see because it's a video playing on your computer. And the people driving their automobiles here at 36 past the hour, listening on WNN 1470 all the way from North Miami, right to where you guys are. You guys right now at that St. Lucie Election Center, that government building, the signal goes up to there so you can hear us. You can hear yourself up there, particularly if you have iHeartRadio. You download that app and you go to WNN in South Florida. But Fred, we're going to play your little piece. It's about a minute, then we'll have you comment on that. Are we ready? And roll 'em.
When it's time to move, call All My Sons Moving and Storage.
First, we got a commercial from All My Sons
Just call
Storage.
Move and receive a free quote
These
and
commercials.
instant text.
Speaking of commercials, if anybody wants to advertise with us, here we go.
Outside the St. Lucie County Elections Office, they're demanding a hard look at contested election results in the Murphy West race for Congress in District 18.
okay.
Angela Cruz is part of the largest news team on the Treasure Coast. She's live in Fort Pierce. Angela?
Kelly, good evening. Here outside the St. Lucie County Supervisor of Elections Office, right here on this curb where we stand, stood just over a dozen veterans and other protesters. They say they were not here for any candidate. They say they were here because once they fought for our country, now they say they're fighting for what they call the right for a fair vote. Coast Guard veteran Fred Perry says he has more questions than answers about the recent election results.
It's all about the procedure and the process, not about who wins.
So the father of a Marine serving overseas gathered his troops and began protesting what he called dirty election summaries.
They're over there fighting for this, and this is not what they deserve, and it's not what the people of St. Lucie County deserve.
Fort Pierce resident Mary Burton says she emailed Supervisor of Elections Gertrude Walker over concerns that her vote may not have counted.
We have the optical scan. We usually don't have any problems. But now I'm really concerned. Now it hits home.
Perry even goes so far as to call for Walker to allow someone else to take over so the district can get closure.
Somebody that knows what they're doing, independent, nonpartisan, must step in now and finish this process.
All right, Fred, thank you very much for your service, your son's service. And
Good stuff.
you said on there, they are over there, they being the United States military, over there fighting in Afghanistan, not for this. What was the this referring to? Describe to our audience what you perceive as the problem.
Well, the problem is it goes beyond a lack of transparency. It's either, and this is probably heard too often these days, it's either complete incompetence, or it's it is an intentional violation of the spirit of the law, of what they are fighting for, of what our veterans before us have fought for. It basically, it flies in the face of all that's good. And, what I think a lot of people don't understand, fail to understand, the gentleman that was speaking earlier that said, hey, you heard this fellow Larry that said, hey, get over it, quit whining. Well, one day it may be Larry's vote that's thrown out the back door. So that's my that was my point.
All right, Dave, you're still with us, right?
Absolutely.
Now, where are you two guys? Are you together? Have you guys met or not?
No, I was with Fred last night. Fred, that was me that was with you last night from the Patriots Press.
Yes, Dave.
Yeah, and I was up there this morning. I got up there, like I said, about 10 o'clock. But we pretty much called it a day for today at about 2 p.m. And tomorrow, like I said, everybody's going to start remustering back there, starting at 7 o'clock, building up to a crescendo at around 10 o'clock. And we do expect a lot more people. I would say probably, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if there's 3 or 4 more times the people there tomorrow than there were today. And I'm going to find out firsthand because I have every intention of going back to see what goes on.
Hey, Fred, this is Tom, and CJ and Mark have a couple of questions for both of you guys. What we're doing for the people just tuning in on driving on I-95 or Military Trail or the Turnpike in Florida, we are analyzing the controversial election voting, what would we call it? Voting analysis?
Debacle.
Yeah, it's a debacle, but the effort to properly count the votes for Congressman Alan West, retired lieutenant colonel, combat vet, and a bunch of people are not just saying. We get emails, we get pictures of in irregularities and first-person eyewitness stories.
Yeah.
So we have experts right now, or people right on the ground right now, in the middle of this. And Fred Perry, a veteran whose son is in Afghanistan right now, a Marine. You slept on the ground there last night, or what did you do, and what are your plans moving forward? And everybody listening, we're gonna tell you where this place is, and when should they? You guys, before you get off, make sure you tell everybody where you want them. But Fred, did you sleep in a tent? Did you sleep in your car? Did you sleep in the Hooskow? Where were you last night?
Well, let me tell you, there's a difference between intent and what actually happened. The folks pretty much, had other obligations and had to get home. I think most of the folks left around 9 o'clock last night.
That's about right.
Although I was heavily self-protected, it's not in a very good neighborhood. And I judged for myself that my idea of staying there overnight by myself, sort of out in the open, was probably not a good idea. So I returned home. I had taken with me 4 MREs to last me 4 days, and the tent, and everything I needed. But it would probably not have been a good situation staying there overnight. So I guess the plan for this evening is there may be there's a conference call at 4 o'clock this afternoon that I'm going to be on with a small group of Alan West people, and Alan will be on that call. We're not sure what the call is about. In fact, we have no idea. There's some speculation, but we don't know. So depending on what happens with that call, and a couple of other things will determine whether or not we're going to be there tonight. But I think what we did last night was we got the story out in the press. They told it very well. In terms of the TV crew that was out there, kudos to the reporter. And we'll see what happens after this afternoon's conference call.
Okay.
That's really
CJ.
interesting. Yeah. I just have to wonder, because this is not just in District 18 in the state of Florida. It's all over Florida, because we've had phone calls, emails, live reports from people across several counties in Florida. I wonder how prevalent this really is, And I wonder how many elections really were certified incorrectly, and just nobody ever thought, hey, did all the votes count?
56,
Did everything get counted?
56 districts in Pennsylvania had a 100% turnout
Yeah.
for Barack Obama. Tom, what do I mean by 100% turnout?
Mostly everybody made it out.
No, 100%
Oh,
means
100.
all votes went to Barack Obama. 0. 56 districts in Pennsylvania. 0 votes went to Romney.
Oh, is that the in the polling areas where the Black Panthers were standing outside?
Could be.
The 50. I mean, that's a
It's
statistical
just-
impossibility.
Do you know what?
It's an area where
in
Romney-
all. It was in all the swing states.
And
It
it's
was
a
in
sa-
all the states where there
All
were
the swing
no
states.
voter ID
But
laws.
guess what? Don't get too riled up, because tomorrow, the world's expert for solving this problem, Jamie Miller, will be in the studio with us. Right?
That's right.
Okay,
That's right.
well, we have a lot of questions for
We got
him.
a lot of
because
questions.
How do we make sure from now on, not just for this election, we cannot ever let our guard down? You've got, forget about it. You got to watch what's going on in the school board. You got to watch what's going on in the supervisor of elections office. These people are Democrat machine fraudsters. They get
Well, she opened
they
up the,
get
she opened up
into
the poll.
office and they stay there for decades. And they surround themselves with people who don't let anybody look over their shoulders and see what they're actually doing.
Here's
These
what we
people
need
are
to do.
accountable to nobody.
Here's what we need to do. We need to just infiltrate their operation, run our surveillance, our little cameras, and catch them in the act, and then get them prosecuted. That's all.
That's a great idea
Tom,
because
one of,
these guys are running around with impunity. They are just totally just.
Yeah, Fred. Yeah, you're right, Mark. Fred, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say one of my very close friends and confederate in the the West campaign. We spent some time together over the weekend, and he commented, and he's very serious about it, that he's going to register as a Democrat. He's going to donate, considerable amounts of money to the Democrat candidates, and he's going to infiltrate and be invited in on the meetings and those kinds of things, and he's going to put his money behind it. I believe he will do that because he doesn't say things lightly. So we'll have to talk about that offline.
Well, have him get a hold of us because we're
Hey.
experts.
They have him keep in touch.
We have a little experience.
We
with
have
that
a
kind
lot of
Yeah.
experience in that.
I know you do. I know you do.
So here we go. We're launching a new campaign in South Florida. We're going to infiltrate the Democrat Party. And we are going to do, James O'Keefe does this with Project Veritas. He does it all over the place. But we're going to do it locally in Florida. We'll put a team of people together. We have a lot of friends who are former agency folks who can train people, Fred, to do this properly. We have the equipment. And we'll catch these suckers in the act. How about that?
Well, I think actually my the individual is actually listening to this interview, so
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Trust me, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah. No,
I think it's great.
It's great. No, it really is a good approach because the other side doesn't know if we do this all the time. It's kind of psyop stuff. They don't know if we're joking or if we're serious until they get the handcuffs put on them. Then they figured it out, So, but there's another way too. That we'll catch them on the illegal side, but they're also doing it legally. They just stack these places with their people, and if somebody comes in and it's semi-legal, somebody comes in, they can tell them to go away. If it's a person who's an older person, no, voting's tomorrow. I mean, there's a million ways to scam the system.
Well, and the one biggest scam that they did was over the weekend when they handed out the absentee ballots. They handed out the absentee ballots and had a special opening day for anybody who wanted to fill out an absentee ballot on Monday before the election.
Well, I told the story about Lake Worth where, listen to this, Dave and Fred, and I'm working with some key people in the city of Lake Worth on this. When the census was taken in 2010, the many Democrats were hired to go door to door. So they would go to a home, and the census would say, Mr. Jones lived there. They knock on the door, and the resident would say, "Oh, Mr. Jones moved 5 years ago." So they'd mark down, "Mr. Jones not here, he's in Montana." They'd go check on the voter rolls. Mr. Jones never took his name off of the voter rolls. So now they have an address, and they know the guy's not around. So they create fake ID with all of that, and then they go vote the person who took that information. This actually is happening in Lake Worth and has been turned over to the state's attorney's office. The person who took the information goes and votes as himself in his precinct. Then he goes and votes again as Mr. Jones, and the person checking the ID is also on the team and lets them come right through, and that's what they're doing in Lake Worth.
Well, I have two comments. One is our forefathers wrote, the greatest document in the world, in the history of the world.
The second
and that
greatest,
document was based upon people doing their jobs.
There you go.
And it was based on the watchdog press doing their jobs. It was based on all of these things. And I don't think they ever conceived that there would be a conspiracy of events and of people that would intentionally weaken the country by, not doing their jobs or by usurping the appropriate what they're supposed to do in their jobs. And then the second point I'll just make very quickly is, have you heard of one instance in the state of Florida where there's been a complaint that the Republicans jerry-rigged a precinct or found ballots or lost, any of these things? Just one. I haven't heard of one.
No.
Well, here's the point too. More to what both of you are talking about is we need to start catching these people and prosecuting them, because this is a felony what they're doing. This is not some misdemeanor crime. Voter fraud is not a misdemeanor. It is a felony, and we start putting these people together, putting these people in jail. People who start to do this stuff are going to think twice about doing this crime, because it's a major crime.
Tom,
it really is.
You're right, Tom, that there were a number of affidavits collected by people that saw voter irregularity in St. Lucie County. The question is will the prosecutor prosecute the case?
Yeah.
And you know how that works.
Yep. All right, guys, we're coming to the close of our first hour. We really appreciate what you're doing for the sake of America, because, look, many of us are close friends with Alan, and a flag falling, with close friends with Alan. We'd love to see him in. But I got another little view. What do you guys think, just real quickly? I think if Alan loses, I think he's going to probably become a commentator on Fox or a show like that. He is going to speak all over the world and make between $5,000 and $25,000 per speech. He'll be speaking to gigantic corporations. This guy's not a wealthy guy by any means. He's going to make a ton of money. He's going to be the black Sarah Palin, if you will. Her career took off, and she's become a leader that way. And I think he'll be in great position to run again in the future if he loses.
Yeah, chances are he might move up to Atlanta too. So
yeah,
back
I hope
where he's
Alan finds a way
move to a red state.
Could be
right by himself and his family financially, while at the same time helping the cause that we're all fighting for. And I think he will.
Yeah, I think he will never stop fighting for his country, no matter what, no matter how he does it. It just would have been nice, and it would be nice to have him fighting in the U.S. Congress, because he's just so strong, and we need people in the Congress who aren't afraid to step outside of the box in the political system and really get things done. And he's one of them.
And he is. And I just got a cartoon sent to me. I will read it on the air because it says in the subject, "This says it all," and I'll just read it. It's got two guys walking, and the first guy says, "Shouldn't voters have to pass an intelligence test?" The other guy says, "You don't have to be intelligent to vote." First guy says, "What if there are more stupid people than intelligent people?" The second guy says, then the Democrat wins. And that's who wins, folks. The Democrat wins. And, that's funny, but there's really a level of truth to that. Just demographically. Yeah, there is. Demographically, there are more lower income, lower educated people on the Democrat rolls, which is the whole raison d'etre of the Democrats. Oh, we're for the underdog. You're for stupid people in many respects, but not just uneducated people. We have a video.
Super educated. It's everybody in the middle.
We have a video we can't
It's
play
Republican.
because the F word is used every
Yeah.
other time. But this is in Boston, guys, outside of Harvard, 3-hour waiting line for the university students, and the videographer interviews them. Obama, abortion, immigration, we're for, on and on. Oh, marijuana laws, we're for abortion. Where now, Obama?
Yeah.
And then the guy says,
No, they're screaming for Obama phones and gay rights.
Yep.
I'm getting my Obama phone. I'm getting my Obama phone.
and then the videographer says, "I got a question for you. How many branches of government are there?"
Yeah.
They couldn't answer that.
Lord.
How many
Right.
how many people in the House of Representatives? Oh, you know what? I mean, not just uneducated people. Uneducated people are dumb when it comes to understanding the truth about political philosophy. Anyway, we're at the end of the show, folks. And Dave D.
For the first hour.
And
End
for
of the first hour of the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got a lot to go. We got all national security stuff coming up. Let's give these guys a hand. Fred,
Yeah.
Good job,
and,
Fred and
Dave
Dave.
D.
You guys are meeting tonight again?
I don't know. I'll probably know better in about a half hour.
Okay,
where
give
where
us-
do you want everybody get?
Yeah, just
Got 10
give us a
seconds.
call and let
If-
us know, and we'll
Uh,
announce it.
Sure.
Okay?
Basically, we did it in front of the bank building there. There's a little bank building that's an out
All
park.
right, send it. We gotta leave right
We
now.
gotta
but
take
send
a
it
break,
to us,
yeah.
and
Thank you.
we'll do it. All right, this is Tom, CJ, Mark, Mike, Kenny. We're all here. See you in a little bit after the news.